Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Another beautiful morning here in Goderich. I've taken a few days to do some rest and relaxation and a little bit of introspection. And today, as I was out walking the Doge, I was waiting for a little bit of a download on what I wanted to talk to you about today. And I got to thinking about, again, some of the messages I've been getting lately, all the different things that people are trying to cope with right now, with the way everything is in the world, and especially in our smaller kind of communities and the things that we're dealing with. And it got me to thinking that I needed to come on here and talk to you and tell you all that you're okay. That you are okay in whatever way you are dealing with this. And I'm going to be more clear on that, of course. Crisis and trauma can bring to the surface in people a feeling or a sense of purposefulness. And that makes sense. If someone is struggling, if a group of people is struggling, if a community is struggling, that's what we do. We love and support, we help, we go in, we guide, we give them what they need. And there is something very fulfilling about that. That's not why we do it. It's not the overall thing in the big picture. But as human beings, it's in our nature to be helpful to others. So of course, when there are times of crisis and moments of trauma, we can fulfill that bit of purposefulness by being helpful. So let's look at the way that that can actually be toxic. And let me just say, let's look at how it is that, we're going along, we're maybe living our lives. All of us, I think, are searching on some levels, or, and that doesn't mean we're unhappy. We can be in a space of wholeness and joy and still be looking for that next level. And I would say most people that work to find wholeness and joy are kind of just seeking a broader experience. So I have noticed a couple of personality types or groups of personalities who are kind of moving forward right now and finding that purposefulness in a less than healthy way for the people that are around them. And I just wanted to mention it to you so that you can be aware if this is around you and if it's affecting you negatively in any way. Now, the first group, again, I call the deep state delusionals. Hey, I'm not here to say that there aren't conspiracies out there and things that aren't in our highest good. That's not it. Because I don't believe or buy into the fact that, right, our government's going to keep us in our houses now, inject us with microchips through some forced vaccines and make us these mindless zombies. Just because I don't buy into that doesn't mean I'm not aware that there are bigger pictures. And that's most rational people. We understand that actually there's lots out there that we don't know. So this group often, let's just think David Koresh, right? Going along in their lives, and they see this vacuum, they see this need, they see fear in people. And even if it can be well-intentioned, here they come with all their doom and gloom information, the conspiracies, and that is what actually creates the fear. They'll tell you that it is the media, that it is the government trying to twist your thinking. We all think for ourselves. They share data. We do what we want to do with that. And yes, if you watch Fox as opposed to CNN, you're going to get a different spin. And guess what? Rational people know that. And rational, intelligent people will look for their information where they can get it. They're trusted sources if they have them, people that they trust, and just trusting their own kind of instincts and things like this. So, with the flat earth thing, I always just ask why? Why years and decades and billions of dollars for this conspiracy to just make us think it's flat? What's the purpose? What do they get out of that? That's where I go with that kind of stuff. So I'm going to move on quickly from this group because although they are annoying and frustrating, and they actually spread information that can make vulnerable people afraid or maybe make bad choices, the idea that they're really ever going to mobilize in groups of more than 100, they'll get together with their misspelled signs, they'll get angry about how the government and the man isn't doing enough for them and is stomping on their rights, and then they'll go home and fall asleep looking through YouTube, trying to find any video that will support their narrative that they can post the next day, and then again get that attention from people. So these types, listen, it's okay to be frustrated with them, but they're really not much of a threat, again, because the idea that they will actually mobilize, I don't think is realistic. The next group you're going to be surprised about because they're warm and they're loving and they're caring and they talk about a lot of positive things. I call them the positivity police. Now let's look at what we're all dealing with right now, and not even just the stuff we were dealing with when this pandemic began. People start trying to deal with illness, relationship dynamics, finances, very real things. So we already had this level of stress that's there. And now we are dealing with fears and emotions and things that none of us ever thought we might face in our lifetime. So we are all kind of flying a little bit blind, trying to understand what's going on in terms of the bigger picture, our own picture. Are we feeling emotional now because we're seeing a family together in the park when that's supposed to be a beautiful, wonderful thing? And now we're wondering, right, are they putting anyone at risk? Yes, it's extreme. It doesn't mean we've all been brainwashed. They're just real emotions that we're having to deal with. Why? Because we do have fears and we do have concerns, and we are all in a new space of trying to understand how to navigate this reality. And then you add to the fact that people are losing their money and their livelihoods, and relationships are breaking down, and abuse has increased. It's not good. No one is saying, let's just pretend that none of those dynamics are there. The positivity police can often be, I'm going to say it, people like me, who are people that you turn to for guidance, for spiritual guidance. And the problem is that every single post that you see that says, just be kind, just be peaceful, don't judge, don't get angry, just be nice to everyone. It's be kind, always be kind. I'm sorry, that's harmful. It's not realistic. It's not what we are as human beings, even when we're not in a pandemic. And I know you mean well, but what you're actually doing is you are shaming people. You are shaming people for being human and setting these unrealistic ideals that if they aren't just walking around being kind all the time, that somehow they're just not hitting the mark. Now, that's been an issue for years, and I've noticed that as a spiritual person. People really project this onto me, and I'm going to say it. If you want Jesus, read the Bible. I'm a human. I'm going to stay a human. I'm going to call out people. I'm going to express my feelings. I'm going to say fuck once in a while. I'm going to do that stuff. And you know why? Because I'm allowed. I'm allowed to be frustrated. I'm allowed to be scared. I'm allowed to state my truth. And so that's something I wanted all of you to be aware of. I know it's well-meaning, but in this unprecedented time of the things that we're dealing with right now, the last thing any of you need is someone just out there telling you to pretend that you aren't having the feelings that you're having. That's no different than fundamental organized religion telling you that your anger and that your frustration is bad and it's lowly and it's evil. So I'm here to release you from that. You can get good feelings from these posts on Facebook or people that are, right, saying like, oh, don't be judgy. That's okay. Feel good for those moments. But they aren't your judge and jury. No one is. So if someone around you is behaving recklessly and you call them out and it's uncomfortable, good for you. Good for you. And if someone is being a jerk and you've put it aside for 5 years and it's time to say, hey, listen, I need to call you out on this behavior, that's okay. And we can be a kind and a loving person. We can love unconditionally and still know when it's time to assertively step up to the plate and be real and set boundaries and call people out on reckless or negative behaviors that are hurting us or other people. So that's my spiel. That's been sitting in me for a little while, ever since a couple people last week were like, ooh, I'm surprised at you. And it's like, don't project that onto me. The only thing that should ever surprise you is if I don't have something to say. And I'm not here to claim I'm right. I'm not here to claim that anyone else's experience or narrative is wrong. That's not what I'm here to do. I don't have that right any more than anyone else. But what I can say to you is you don't have to be governed by those positivity police, because guess what? They're not really that down at their core either. It's not really that. So off I go. I have some readings to do today. Please just be real. Feel what you're feeling. I'm not saying go beat somebody up. That's not good. But if you have thoughts of it, that's okay. No one is projecting that onto you in a way that you actually have to accept it. Love yourself. Be angry at yourself. Feel your feelings. Do whatever you need to do, and understand that that is okay. Anyway, off I go. Got Chevy here. I got the Doge here back again for a little while, so I'm no longer talking to just myself. All of you, I think you're all amazing, and just keep at it a day at a time. We're getting there.